Saturday, it's time to kick off the Experts program here on New Year's Eve, and that means that Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, is with us right now. Well, Luis, I'll just say it right now. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, my friend. I look forward to more of these shows in 2023, but here we are closing out the year on the last day of 2022.
Hey, we've got an interesting story to share with folks today, and it's a joint cybersecurity advisory from the USDA. So if you're in the ag business in the Salinas or Pajaro Valleys, perk up your ears for this. Criminal actors are using business email compromises to steal large shipments of food products and ingredients. How's this all happening? What's going on here, and how does this affect our Salinas and Pajaro Valley grower shippers?
Well, the answer is yes. I'll start with that. It does affect them. And in fact, if we have a moment, I'll be able to talk about a case that I know of. But essentially what business email compromise is another scam that hackers use to try to take money or products, in this case, away from you. So the idea is that somehow they get access into your email system. And in most cases, it's because somebody has a compromised password or somebody clicked on a link and they were able to infect that person's email client with some malware that then gives the bad guys access. And what they do is they watch the emails that go back and forth because they're forwarding them to themselves, unbeknownst to the owner of the email account. And as they learn more about the business, they can start using what they know to basically compromise that business. Sometimes they will pretend to be that user and send an email to the accounting department, for example, and say, hey, I need a wire transfer. That's the most famous one that has hit a lot of people, where somebody gets an email from an internal email address that looks legit, and then they follow through on instructions to email money or wire money someplace. But what these guys are doing now is once they penetrate these email accounts, they're actually reaching out to the suppliers of these organizations and ordering product and having that product delivered. But unbeknownst to the company that supposedly is purchasing them, they get a bill for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for product that they don't have and never ordered, but they're on the hook for. So it's becoming a really expensive problem. And last year in 2021, the FBI estimates that it was an over $2.5 billion problem that only continues to grow because people are not really good about protecting their email accounts, and it makes it very easy for the bad guys to penetrate it.
Wow. Now tell us about the local case that you know about.
Yeah. So this was an interesting case. A company that buys product from all over the country. They work with the food service industry to provide packaging. And so they have a lot of suppliers from all over the country. And they got one of their AP clerks got an email from supposedly one of their suppliers saying, hey, we've changed our banking information. So here's the new routing info. And oh, by the way, attached is an invoice for $250,000, which was 10 times the amount of what the usual invoices that they get from this particular supplier. But the AP person said, hey, it looked legit. So she went about the process of getting that money wired and transferred. But fortunately for them, the bank that received the transfer request thought it was really suspicious that it was significantly more than usual for this particular account. So they called the controller and said, hey, is this legit? And they discovered that no, it was not legit. So they were able to stop the transaction. But the fact that somebody had been able to monitor that person's emails and knew that they got invoices from this particular supplier, and when they looked at it, it had the logo, it had the email address, it had everything that looked super legit. Just this request to change the bank routing information was the suspicious part. So it happens to everybody, and it can happen to everybody, and you really need to take some precautions to protect yourself.
Boy, that's scary. Okay. Hey, I've got a couple things that I want to share with you that are similar to this, or at least cybersecurity warnings. One is from a Facebook friend of mine. They wanted to give out a friendly PSA about buying and selling on the internet, specifically the Facebook marketplace. See if this resonates with you, Luis. My friend John writes that in recent times it has become a cesspool of scammers who've stolen real profiles and now use them as a front to scam you out of money. He writes that he was looking for a tailgate for a truck, and all the replies are asking him to send them a private message. When you do talk to the seller or the buyer, they ask in broken English what the model of your car is, and then they try to Google a picture or whatever it is that you're wanting to buy. Most people think that because they have pictures, it must be legitimate. Now, here's what my friend says. Safeguard yourself. Them do something really specific in the photo or whatever it is that you want, like they should hold up 3 fingers or flash a sign or thumbs up or what have you. And then if you're going to buy something on an online marketplace marketplace and you're going to use like PayPal, do not send the money PayPal friends and family. If the person says, pay me friends and family, you have no recourse. Once the money is gone, that's it. So if you're going to use PayPal, insist that it go through goods and services, because if they're legit, you offer to pay the difference and the fees to protect yourself, and those few extra bucks will allow you to dispute a charge if anything goes wrong. So that's an important online purchasing safety tip. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice, because there are a lot of scams out there, and it doesn't take a lot of money to hurt people. Sometimes when we talk about tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands, that's real money. But still, if you're a consumer and $250 is important to you, then you don't want to be losing that money. So do everything you can to verify who you're doing business with, and try to only do business with known people that are doing legit work or that come recommended, and be wary of somebody new out there in that marketplace.
Exactly. Now, here's the other thing, too. Amazon sent out a PSA to its users recently, how to stay safe from scammers. And one of them is about order confirmation scams. These are unexpected calls, text, or emails that often refer to an unauthorized purchase and then ask you to act urgently to confirm or cancel the purchase. These scammers are trying to convince you to provide payment or bank account information, install software on your computer and device, or purchase gift cards. Amazon writes, remember, if you receive correspondence regarding an order you weren't expecting, you can verify orders by logging into your Amazon account. Only legitimate purchases will appear in your order history, and customer service is available 24/7 to assist you. And another thing that they want you to be aware of is tech support scams. Scammers create fake websites claiming to provide tech support for your devices and Amazon services. Customers who land on these pages are lured to contact the scammer and often fall prey to their schemes. As a safety, Amazon says to go directly to the help section of the Amazon website when seeking help with Amazon devices or services. If you do use a search engine, use caution. Legitimate Amazon websites contain Amazon.com, such as Amazon.com/support. So just a couple things to let people know.
Absolutely. I mean, I get them all the time, like an email saying, oh, here's your invoice or we processed your invoice for your Norton renewal or your Geek Squad renewal. If this is done in error, click here to correct it. Yep. And the idea is when you click it, they're going to ask for your information, including credit card information, so that they can, reverse the charges. But the reality is that they're just stealing your info. So be wary about those, especially via text, which is becoming very popular.
Right. And Amazon also goes on to say, trust Amazon-owned channels, be wary of false urgency in any sales pitch, and never pay over the phone. That Amazon will never ask you to provide payment information, including gift cards or verification cards for products or services over the telephone. So important stuff to keep in mind. Yep.
Especially as we enter the return season, after the holidays, as people start returning stuff, there'll be even more scams out there.
Exactly. And we'll talk more about those on upcoming programs. Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, has been our guest today. Online, it's alvareztg.com. At AlvarezTG, that's the Twitter handle. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.